Married at First Sight, season 14, episode 4, and we starting off with Mark and Lindsey. I'm uploading videos all day. Check the links below for the other videos, but this is for Mark and Lindsey. And let me tell you, Lindsey is a shit starter, a professional shit starter. And you know what? I'm one step away from calling her a Karen, and I'm gonna tell you why. Lindsey loves to poke bears. She loves to use humor, but the humor is always at the expense of someone else. She loves the name call. She loves to use slang and other types of slurs to integrate into her conversation. And she steps on the line all the time. And that's why I'm telling you, she's very close to becoming a Karen. But right now, I'm going to keep her at shit starter level. But nonetheless, I don't like it and I don't like her. I told you this was a season of sameness. And I was telling you we were going to see if the backgrounds of all these couples was either going to help them in their marriages or was going to hurt them. And I'm telling you, this overlapping between Lindsey and Mark the Shark on their relationships with their parents, let me tell you, it is starting to integrate in their relationship, and you're starting to see some things that are dysfunctional. I don't know who's worse, if it's Lindsey's mother or her, but I have enough evidence to know that Lindsey is not innocent. She is a shit starter. Who knows? Maybe she got it from her mother. That's why they don't get along. Or who knows? Maybe her mother don't want to have nothing to do with all this foolishness. But she's a shit starter. And that daddy of hers, he don't hold his tongue either. Let me tell you, he hardly has anything ever nice to say of Lindsey. So anyway, the episode gets started when it's coming back after the wedding. They're in their hotel room about to go to bed for the night. And Lindsey is talking about how she won. She's so happy. She got the best husband ever. She's all ecstatic about, her life going forward. And, she starts telling Mark the Shark about how she's had to draw boundaries with her mother. Let me tell you, her mother might have drawn some boundaries with her too. She's talking about she's the innocent one. But let me tell you, this is why I'm about to call her a Karen. Because Lindsey always likes to talk like she's the victim. But let me tell you, she's the perpetrator. A lot of the time, she's the perpetrator. And then when that gets turned back on her, then she becomes the victim, and then she wants to cry. That's some Karen behavior. Now, she likes all this vulnerability in Mark. She likes that he's his caretaker. You know what? Because he's probably had a lot of practice with it, because it seems like his mother isn't the most nurturing person. So he's used to nurturing mean women. And let me tell you, he's got another one on his hands. They go to bed. I don't know if it was any hanky-panky, but they go to bed, and when they wake up, Mark is happy. He's like, it felt good waking up next to his wife. He's really excited about, being married and possibly having a family and all this kind of stuff. He's so positive and optimistic. So here's one of the first little jabs Lindsey takes of the day. Of course, she's got to get in 2 or 3 an episode. She talks about how she's a giver and she's been with takers. I don't believe that either, Lindsey. And then she starts talking about, she has dated a lot of jabronis. You know what? Here's another slang derogatory term I had to look up on Lindsey, because you know what? I can't keep track of all these derogatory terms she used. On After Party a couple of weeks ago, she called her husband a Guido. I had to look that up. The last time she started talking about the black girls and how they wanted a tall black guy. And you know what? I didn't like that either. Now here she is using another term, jabronis, and I had to look that up. Another derogatory term. She loves to use them. She thinks it's funny, but the shit ain't funny. Anyway, so Lindsey goes and meets Mark the Sharks, all his friends or whatever, and they're talking. And let me tell you, Lindsey's very intelligent. I see how she got on this show, and I see how she fooled the experts. Because when she was sitting there with Mark the Shark's family, let me tell you, she presented well. She presented professionally. She presented level-headed. Mark the Shark's family, literally, I believe they fell in love with her. And let me tell you, if that's all I had to go off of, I would like Lindsey, because she came off and she's his caretaker. She's level-headed. She wants to contribute and all this. But let me tell you, that was all an act, because every other scene about Lindsey, she ain't giving anything. She's taking, and she's about to make Mark the Shark her caretaker. We find out that Lindsey's traveled a lot. She's been a lot of places. Like I said, I can tell she's been a lot of places. She's been exposed to a lot of things. I can tell she has a nice level of education, because she knows actually how to act in certain places the way she should act. But the problem is that's not who she really is. She can put that on for a few seconds, But let me tell you, that ain't gonna be a lifetime of that Mark the Shark. Next thing you know, Mark the Shark is meeting her family. Once again, here come the father and the friends. Right away, they said, here's your survival kit. You see what I'm saying? When family and friends have to give you a survival kit, they're not just trying to be funny. They're really serious. And one of the girls told Mark, listen, I'm really concerned about you because you seem like you might want to treat her like a princess, but somebody's going to need to tell her no. She needs to be told no. They gave Mark the Shark this red button that he's supposed to press in case of an emergency. They gave her a snack bar like to feed the hungry lion, to feed the tiger when the tiger is getting ornery and all upset. These are all bad signs. And once again, that father didn't have too much good to say about his own daughter. He basically said that when she gets up, her tongue is vicious. We know what that is. We know what a vicious tongue is. And he's exactly correct. After he told Mark the Shark that, Mark the Shark eyes got so big, and Mark the Shark has pretty eyes. Let me tell you, you saw all them gray, blue with all them colors going on in his eyes. His eyes got big as whatever. He was like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Anyway, they leave and they get ready to go on the honeymoon. They're going to Puerto Rico. They find out they're going to Puerto Rico, which I think is a nice honeymoon destination. We were there last year, my husband and I, celebrating his birthday. We had a really good time. I've been there a couple of times. So anyway, they go to Puerto Rico and they're on the plane. And something else I noticed on the plane, just to give you an idea, I look at little things. They're on the plane, and you know how you have 3 seats on the plane. Mark the Shark was on the middle seat. Miss Lindsey was on the aisle seat. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Don't nobody want to be scrunched into a middle seat. Now, I know the plane ride from Boston to Puerto Rico is short, only maybe about 3 hours. But let me tell you something. That told me a lot about Lindsey. That told me that you're willing to crunch your husband up in the middle seat. As big as Mark the Shark is, you're willing to crunch him up in the middle seat for your own comfort. That told me something. After they get off the plane and they're getting ready to go to the hotel, everybody's getting into a van, and we find out that Mark the Shark and Lindsey have to have a separate van. And he's like, oh, we're getting the road treatment. But it wasn't no road treatment. It was isolation. It was isolation for Hurricane Lindsey. Hurricane Lindsey done touched land down in Puerto Rico, and they had to isolate Lindsey from the group. Because obviously when they was on the plane, Olajuwon and Katina were sitting in front of them, and Lindsey started talking about all her adventures to Puerto Rico, and what language are you gonna speak, and you need to speak the language of the natives. And I guess she was trying to read Olajuwon and Katina, and we're gonna get into that in that videos. But those two wasn't having it, so they got into it on the plane. So by the time they got off the plane, they had to separate Lindsey from Katina and Olajuwon, and Lindsey and Mark the Shark had to take a whole nother bus. So anyway, they finally get to the hotel, Mark and Shark, and here it comes again. Here comes this Karen language. She starts recounting what happened on the plane, and she said she was just joking, and obviously Olajuwon and Katina took it the wrong way. There go them jokes that ain't funny to nobody but her. Like I tell you, they get her in trouble. She said she was just joking. They got into the wrong way. Next thing you know, she says that, Olajuwon is puffing out his chest and he's getting aggressive with her. And you know what? She felt uncomfortable. So now she is on the balcony of her hotel crying, talking about she felt uncomfortable and she felt unsafe, and she's just so happy her husband here is to take care of her and comfort her and all these other things. Mark, here you go. You're getting a glimpse into your life. You're getting a glimpse into how it's going to be with a woman who pops off in public, says what the hell she wants to say, can't take responsibility for what she says, can't back up nothing she wants to say, uses those tears so she can get some sympathy. But you know what, Mark? You're going to be taking up for her, and you better be careful, because she may piss off the wrong person, and it might get you in trouble too trying to take up for her. So anyway, afterwards, everybody's meeting down below for welcome drinks and all this other kind of stuff. Lindsey doesn't come because he's obviously still scared of Olajuwon and Katina. Mark goes down, tries to smooth things over, and I really like how Mark handled it. He says, I'm representing my team, my couple. I'm coming here to apologize. He was very level-headed. He talked about the conversation he had with Lindsey, telling her she's always on 10, and she needs to be careful about provoking people because everybody's got buttons, and you can't be pushing everybody's buttons. He's trying to talk to her. He's trying to wrangle her just like he's got to wrangle them 3 cats he got and those 2 she's going to have. But you know what? I don't think he's going going to be able to wrangle her, because you know what? Who hasn't been able to wrangle Lindsey? Her mother, her father, her sister, her brother, nor her friends. Nobody can wrangle Lindsey. Anyway, it was a mess. I don't have any more things for Lindsey, because you know what? I really don't like her. And you're going to see in my other videos with the other couples how her storyline bleeds into other marriages and starts to cause problems in other marriages. I don't like Lindsey.